Uh, well, among the younger ones, I mean, Raj Santoshi is my favorite. I think he is doing wonderful work. And Vinod Chopra, Maniratnam, then Mahesh Bhatt. You know, these are the guys who are trying to be different and yet trying to create a cinema which is viable, because it is very important for cinema to stand on its own feet, I feel. This is my favorite saying, I keep saying this, is that we should try and learn from our 50s cinema. It was not crude, it was value-based cinema, it was issue-based cinema. You know, you pick up a whole lot of series of films, whether it's Shantaram, whether Raj Kapoor, Mahbub Khan, Guru Dutt, you know, all these guys have made some wonderful films based on the social issues and have done it successfully. They have not begged from people, they have not begged from NFDCs or governments. Their cinema stood on their own feet, because that is very important. भाई सरकार सड़कें बनाएगी, गरीबी हटाएगी या सिनेमा प्रमोट करेगी, frankly? To what extent? So the cinema has to learn. This is what the parallel cinema people have to learn, to be able to make their film stand on their own feet, whether to use music or to use a thriller form like Govind has done in Akrosh. You know, he's used a thriller form. Kisne kiya murder? But the film is based on social issue. So they have to find a way so that their film stand on its own feet. आप ये नहीं कह सकते आपने जी इतनी अच्छी फिल्म बनाई है कोई देखता नहीं है, because that excuse will not go.
You know, parallels. Now I just thought of another film is Basuda's Astha that she's making after a very long time, and where you are with Rekha. How is it working on this film, and any experiences? How is it working with Rekha as a co-star?
Well, this is my first film with Rekha ji. She's a wonderful actress. She's proved herself many times, and I have been an admirer of her. Ashu Bhattacharya's Tisri Kasam I adore. Now, this is what I mean. You know, these are the kind of films which, and this film he's doing. It's about a man-woman relationship. You know, the problems of urban living. Woman comes from a simple, I mean, she's a simple housewife, and husband is a lecturer in a college. So it's about the man-woman relationship.
Only you have worked with a lot of sensitive actresses, if I may call them, Shabana, Smita, and now Rekha. How would you distinguish these different actresses and their, you know, the main essence of these actresses?
I mean, well, they are all talented. You mentioned only 3 names. No? You mentioned Shabana, Smita,
Rekha. There's so many.
Rekha. Yeah, there's so many more. Well, they've all proved themselves, and we all know that they are wonderful actresses.
Is there any distinctive, let's say Shabana, is there any distinctive thing about that actress that, you know?
Shabana is a very, I mean, she's very thinking actress, and she has certain strong beliefs, which I feel she always keep them in mind, you know, particularly in reference to women. You know, if there's certain issue or certain thing done in a certain manner, she immediately reacts. So in that sense, she's quite volatile, which is nice. She's a very aware actress.
And how was it working with Smita and Rekha? I mean, which would you say was the one you were most comfortable with working?
See, frankly, it doesn't bother me. I have a theory. People keep saying, no, I enjoyed more working with that person. Fine, you know, on a certain level, it is okay. But you are interacting. Even if I don't like somebody, it can happen that I may not like somebody because of certain other reasons of personal life. I don't like a certain person the way certain person behaves in parties or outside, or the way he talks about, but that has nothing to do with me on the set. On the set, for me, he is not so and so, but he is so and so, the character he is playing. After we finish the shot, he goes to his green room, I go to my green room, and we have no problems. But suppose if I have to interact with a certain person whom I don't like in the parties, I will avoid. But on the set, I'll be as friendly as a friend. So there is no question of feeling comfortable or uncomfortable if you're a professional. So it doesn't really bother me. Yes, I mean, it can be more enriching if you interact better, if you're friends. But even that doesn't really stop, because on that level you can discuss it, a certain script or a certain scene, that look, this is my idea of the script, etc. But some people have a very strong notion of their feelings. In such cases, I leave it to the director. I don't struggle to convince the co-actor that, look, what I'm saying is right. I let it happen. I let the director choose. I am not in it. If the scene suffers, let it suffer, because he is the captain and he is the father figure. I am not here to argue. I will argue to a decent extent and then leave it to the director. That's my attitude.
What do you think is your biggest plus point and your biggest drawback as an actor?
As an actor?
Yeah.
Biggest plus point is my big nose and my poke marks, unconventional face, as you said earlier. No, I suppose my biggest assets would be, one, that I'm a trained actor. I have done 3 years training in National School of Drama, 2 years in the Film Institute, and before National School of Drama also I was involved with the theatre group, and I did some wonderful plays with them. So all these years of experience have enriched me as an actor. And plus I had the opportunity to work with all prominent directors in the country and some abroad. So all that has added to the assets, and plus you keep yourself informed, you keep yourself aware, and you try and contribute whatever you can in the given circumstances through this awareness.
And your minus points?
My?
Minus points?
Minus drawbacks. Even if I have, I won't admit it.
That's honest enough. So now another thing is, how do you distinguish between a good performance that you've done from a bad one?
Frankly, that's a very difficult question, because again, I will not admit it, because honestly speaking, I try and do my best. But sometimes certain kind of irritations take place while you're working. It could be weather, it could be your beard is itching you and you want to get rid of the dialogue and get rid of the scene. Sometimes it can happen really. Or because the manner we shoot, well, decent people will work for 10 hours, but sometimes we work for 18 hours, 20 hours, which I think is not done, which is bad. That brings the standard down. Because everybody is a human being. If you're feeling hot, you're feeling hot. So I'm not saying that all performances are brilliant, but some performances, yes, would be less. But the intention of being professional, I don't go late for shootings. If I have a script, if I have a scene, I'll see to it that I read it a night before, even if I know the script, even if I've read the script 6 months in advance. So one does try and do one's best. But still, there may be some performances which are which may be because of these human errors, which I would like to call is because of heat. You would say, "Chodo, this take." If the director says okay, then you say, okay. But whereas at certain times when you're feeling comfortable, even if the director has said okay, you say, "Can I try one more?" So at some places you can falter.
Would you mention the films?
I was bad in Narsimha. Though the audience, what I mean to say is, the audience, when I meet them on the railway station or these working class people, I mean, but one doesn't really take them so seriously because those boys, etc. And they keep referring to Narsimha. Narsimha. But I think it was very one-dimensional and no style.
Then is there a particular role that you've seen someone else do that you would like to do yourself?
Many. All of them. जितने रोल नसीरुद्दीन शाह ने किए हैं सब मैं करना चाहता हूँ. No, this is something which is very healthy and which to deny that would be untrue, really. Nasir, for example, he was brilliant in Sparsh. He gave an excellent performance. Really. And I did a small part, which was just 3 scenes. And Sai asked me, "Om, ye hai chota hai." I said, "Never mind, I'll do it." Because I haven't played a blind. So I like to play a blind. So we were the 2 people who were artificially blind people. The other blind people in the film are actually blind, except me and Nasir. And Nasir was brilliant in that film.
Which are the roles that Nasir's played that you would like to? Anyone?
All of them I'm saying, na? Par. सुन रहा है वो भी कमबख्त. No, we have this wonderful, since NSD, because we were together in drama school, then we spent a year together in Film Institute. But in Film Institute, he became 1 year senior to me. But we have this wonderful rapport, where we keep watch on each other.
Okay, besides Nasir, is there any other foreign film or any other character that has impressed you and that you would like to do?
No, see, on fun level, as I said, these thoughts may come, but I don't, ऐसे thoughts को ज़्यादा भाव नहीं देता हूँ, because there's no point, Generally my attitude is what comes in the way, because since you don't have a choice, the choice is made by somebody else is going to approach you, so why think about it, so that is my basically attitude. You mean your personal experience influences your work?
Yeah.
It does, it absolutely does. Whatever maximum percentage one would say would be there. I mean, beside the writer's thinking, and you identify with that thinking, and you complement that thinking, and you try and enhance that thinking with your own personal efforts.
Is there any role at this moment that you would say has been the thematic moment of your career, that is high point of your career?
High point, I would say, in terms of career as an actor, the obvious high point was Ardhasatya 84. And then there were a couple of, you get a little award somewhere, that becomes a little, but these are all sort of transitory happenings,
Or is there anything that you're working on that you feel very strongly about right now?
Right now, but there are nice films, commercial films. Rajiv Rai's film I'm enjoying very much, called Gupt. With Arcade, it's been a wonderful experience. It is going to be released very soon.
What are these
Prem Granth. Prem Granth, I play Madhuri's father, who is part of the good forces, and it's a love story, very well done, very decently, and lovely music. And very dramatic part, and he, Madhuri, Rishi, they represent the good forces, and they lead the whole movement.
And Gupt, what is your role in Gupt?
Gupt, I play a police officer who is very, very sort of, it's a hangover of Al Satya maybe, but much more, broad and stylish kind of, who is very strict and who is very good at his job and good markman, maybe ruthless when he feels right, a guy who would go beyond the law, meaning sometime, it is necessary. That is what he claims, and he's right at points. He said, if somebody hits you in the chest, if my boss orders, no, you hit him in the leg, he said, I won't. I will hit him in the chest. So that kind of a character. Well, again, it becomes, there's no point desiring. Because you have to choose from what you are offered, But still, it's not that one doesn't desire, one do desire to do good parts, to do big parts. And at times one does feel frustrated when you see wonderful performances and wonderful scripts, whether from abroad or you see a film in the past, made by our own people here. So that leaves a little bad taste, and you feel distressed, you feel, and at times you feel, damn it, couldn't you also have been a producer? If you had pots of money, you could have maybe produced your own film, things like these. So all these, again, transitory kind of things. But then, as I said, eventual reality is that you don't have a choice. You have to choose what you are offered.
All right, maybe not a producer, but like your friend and colleague Nasir, who's turned a director. Are you planning to do that?
Has he turned a director? I don't even know it. I'll kill him.
He's directing a film of Plus, I think.
Really? Oh. I don't mind asking him for a role. Are you listening, Nasir?
Okay. Finally, how would you like to be remembered?
To be a good man, decent man, fair man, what else? I mean, certainly not as a nasty man, not as an opportunist, not as a man who stepped on somebody else to climb somewhere,
And as an actor?
And a good citizen, that's very important.
And as an actor?
As an actor, I'm sure the acting, it has been growing in the past. Much better actors will emerge, because I don't believe in कि साहब वो फलां आदमी चले गए और उसके बाद तो ये सब जो है एक खला रह गया है, because I think that is a very, very negative term to believe, because then you are not believing in life, that life is constantly growing. I'm sure there will be much, much better actors than all of us here at present.
Finally, now we are doing Nasir on 27 and 28. I would like you to give me a little personal listing on Nasir.
Beware of him. He's very smart, very clever, and
I think about him, everything about him as an actor.
Oh, he is wonderful. He is absolutely marvelous to work with, and what is nice is, obviously it has to be there also. There's no sense of insecurity, and he will always have the courage to admire a good performance of somebody else, which I think itself is a wonderful quality, and which will keep growing him, because that is the sign of somebody who wants to constantly grow, that you appreciate good work done by somebody else.
On the other hand, one sees Nasir doing a lot of plays, which I don't think you have that kind of time now.
No, I admire Nasir for that. It's very good to, it keeps your own talent sharpened. And unfortunately, I have not been able to. He has a wonderful group, but I couldn't really manage to do, though I've been wanting to do, though it may sound like an excuse. But seriously, this is a problem. Earlier, there were certain actors who were waiting in the wings. They don't have work. They have very little work, so they are available. Now everybody is busy because of the television boom. I think he was harsh. You see, I was not here. I was abroad somewhere. When I came back, the whole press generally, because we've been colleagues and we've been friends, etc. तो उनको लगा शायद कुछ मसाला मिले, लेकिन हमसे कुछ मसाला उनको मिलता ही नहीं वैसे. तो बहरहाल उन्होंने, they said, this is what Nasir said, that it's all rubbish and he wasted his years, etc. That I think was a bit harsh. In fact, I spoke to Nasir also. I said, I agree with a lot of things what he felt, and that disturbed him. Very, very genuine. But at some point he was very harsh. By negating the parallel cinema totally was a bit too harsh. So maybe that is what people may have heard about. That, look, it is the parallel cinema which made you and you are denying it. So maybe that kind of a,
Thank you.
Right?